Hello everyone, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about the second episode of Princess Session Orchestra. First of all, Wakutomete, thank you very much for the subs of the second episode. Girl, the subs are so pretty. I love fan sub works. They are amazing. Thank you very much for subbing this. For us Magical Girl fans and Prince Session fans, we are on the road of becoming Prince Session fans, I think. So thank you very much. And before I talk about the episode itself, I just want to talk a little bit about the opening and the ending because we saw them for the first time in this episode. And I really like the opening song. We heard it before. And the visuals of the opening, oh my God, they're so beautiful. I love it. But the sauce to me is really in the ending. Girl, what an ending we have. It's incredible. I love the song and the visuals are super top notch. I feel like between the two of them, I'd say the ending is what captured my heart, even though the opening is very good as well. I like the ending more in terms of song and in terms of visuals, animation, everything. This ending is everything to me already. I am loving it. So let's talk about the second episode that started right where the first episode left us. Princess Ripple, or Minamo, is now Princess Ripple. She just transformed and now she is dealing with the feelings of, wow, I have just transformed. Oh my God, did I just say princess? What's going on? So we have a little bit of a reaction from her. I still feel like Minamo is a very tame type of character, and I felt that throughout this whole episode, and I couldn't really connect with her scenes that much. This first scene didn't really get me. It wasn't very funny. It wasn't the chaos that we usually need from those type of scenes. It didn't really show me much personality. But there was a funny moment that I loved from this scene, which was when the monster hit her and she's like, oh no, oh wait, this doesn't hurt. And then it hit her again. This doesn't hurt. And then she's like, okay, now I'm a princess, let me go. And then she was like, bah, and it did not work either. Thankfully, Zeal was there to save the day, and we have some battle moments from Zeal again. I feel like they were very similar to the first episode, nothing like super special, but still very fun to watch. And then after Zeal defeated the monsters, the place was fine, Alicipia was fine, and both of them detransformed. One of the things I don't like is the detransforming effect, which I feel like is also going to be the transforming effect, like when they're not transforming with the transformation scene, because we see that in the opening. I don't like it. I think it's very ugly. But let me just say, Minamo has hearts. So I'm like, okay, main character hearts, obviously. But Zeal has butterflies. I think it's pretty clear who my favorite of this show is going to be. Oh my God. And so Minamo gets back at being Minamo, and when she sees that Zeal is actually Kagari, now I'm not going to forget her name, she's actually Kagari, that big pop star in Alicipia, and also a girl who studies on a class very close to her, she is shocked. And it's funny. That scene was nice. I liked that Minamo scene because Minamo was overwhelmed with the fact that she's a princess now. But when she saw Kagari and she saw that Kagari is the same person as Princess Zeal, she totally forgot the fact that she was a princess. She just became a princess and she was fangirling all over. She's like, okay, me and my friend, this is Nachi. And Nachi was like passed out. And he's like, this is my friend Nachi, this is me, and we are your biggest fans. We love you. You are such a beautiful idol. We were here at your show, at your concert. We were rooting for you. She was getting crazy about that, and I really like it. And then we get to some exposures. And I think the exposure moments of Princess Session in this, there were a lot of them in this episode, and I feel like they are able to explain things in a concise way, and I think I like them. And I feel like they are very expository, like they're sitting down and they're just talking, but they work and they're good explanations about what's really going on. But there's one thing that felt a little weird to me. I'm gonna get there. So we have Kagari and also Minamo, and we have this mascot rabbit-like character who is someone from Alicipia who helps the princesses. And then first of all, they talk about the fact that there were rumors about princesses and the rumors are real. They exist, or at least Princess Zeal exists. We still don't know how Kagari became Princess Zeal. I feel like we're going to get there in the future. I'm very excited to see it. And then the fairy or the rabbit starts explaining that they are the helpers of the princess. They are Alicipian and they're helping the princesses. And then they start talking about why they are princesses. They don't really know, they don't really understand how they become princesses, but that happened with both of the girls. And then they start saying that they cannot tell other people that they are princesses. And here is a nice moment, because usually in magical girl shows, they're like, you can't say why you're a magical girl. You don't say that you're a magical girl. And they don't explain why you can't say that. But in here, they explain why. And even though I feel like the explanation doesn't really work, it is a good thing to do. And I'm going to say why I think it doesn't work. They say that for you, if you say you are a princess, it's going to put a burden on you. And that is true. I'm not saying that that part is bad, because that is true. That is going to happen. People are going to look at you for so many other things apart from only being a princess. You're going to have to help them with everything. But there's also the fact that if you tell them you are a princess, you're going to put them in danger. And that is also true. Obviously, they can kidnap someone that's very close to you to bribe you or to try to attack you, try to hurt you. But the fact is, the villain that we see in this episode later on knows that Minamo is Princess Ripple. So there is no way that saying that she is like putting other people in danger because she's telling them her identity as Princess Ripple. The danger is because the villain knows that she is, so she would have to hide her identity from the villains. But the villain knows that that girl is Princess Ripple. So the people that are close to her are in danger nonetheless. But the first part, I do get it. And then they, start talking about other things, and, Minamo promises to keep it a secret. I really like Kagari's personality. She seems like a very sweet and calm girl. I mean, there's obviously more to her that we still don't know, but I am vibing with her a lot. And it was kind of funny that, Nachi was passed out, and then they changed scenarios, and Nachi was still passed out. I was imagining, they had to carry Nachi around, passed out like that. Girl, poor Nachi. And then she wakes up. They go back to our world. And when we had our world, I just started noticing how beautiful Alicipia is. Every time we see Alicipia as a scenario, it is super, super pretty. Oh my God, it is so nice, the colorization and how they do things. I love, visually at least, it's very appealing. And I feel like they are at least trying to make Alicipia feel alive. Whenever we have scenes in Alicipia, we see characters passing around, we see creatures from Alicipia flying, some of them, very few, but still some of them. So it feels like they're trying to make it a lively place. And then when they go back, we have both Nachi and Minamo talking, and Nachi is opening up her heart that, she unfortunately could not do her live moment in Alicipia. She was attacked, but she was saved by a princess. And this idea of a princess existing is becoming more and more palpable to Minamo. And then they go back to Alicipia, and when they are there, they are attacked again. Before that, we have a little scene from the villains. They snap back at each other like, oh, you're not being able to do anything, you're not being able to attack. But, I feel like that scene didn't really amount to much. I feel like we are still going to learn more about the villains and their personalities. The show is going to have 48 episodes, so there's still plenty of time. I feel like they're going slow in introducing some of the ideas. And so when they get back to Alicipia, the villain appears again and attacks again. Before he appears, Nachi sees the guy and she's like, oh, well, who are you? Why are you dressed like that? And wait, you're a man. How are you in Alicipia? So this idea of men not being able to enter Alicipia was introduced in the first episode. But if you missed it in the first episode, if you didn't watch the first episode, it was introduced again here in another way. I feel like this is nice storytelling. This is a nice way of introducing ideas to the audience, because they're mostly children and sometimes they're not going to be able to watch every single episode of a show. They might have missed the first. So if they watch the second, they understand the idea that in Alicipia, only girls can be there. Only girls can visit. Only girls can be inside. But that is an intruder. And that also adds to the idea that the villains are intruding. They are intruders. They're invaders. They're invading Alicipia. But he attacks, but this time he does a different attack. So we have the monsters, I think they're called Jabberwocks. I don't necessarily remember. And he uses one of them only to suck the energy of Nachi again. Girl, poor Nachi. She is suffering so much already. Why are you putting her through this? And she's such a lovely character. Oh my god, this... And I'm like, okay, she's probably not going to become a princess because she's like red-ish. And we already have Princess Zeal. I'm sad for you, Nachi. You deserved better. And because of that, Minamo just watches. And this time around, by only having one Jabberwock, the fact that he absorbed all of the energy made him become a bigger monster. And he looks way more threatening than the others. And the monster just starts going after Minamo, and Minamo carries Nachi around. And I have such a problem with that scene because it felt so long. And there was even a moment that she sat down with Nachi and she kept looking down like, girl, why aren't you transforming? You just became a princess. Why aren't you at least trying to do something except running? You have a magical power. You couldn't do much in your first fight, but maybe it is time to wake up. But fortunately, Kagari was able to arrive as Princess Zeal. And before that, we have a little scene between Kagari and Dabi, who is the rabbit, the Alicipian rabbit. And they were talking about the fact that... unfortunately, Kagari couldn't finish her show. And I love that she said that she felt very sad because the audience was expecting that show for months. And Alicipians have been working on that show for months as well, setting up the stage, promoting the show. Love it. It's not something you usually think about when writing a scene like that. And that was very cool. And so... Dabi notices that there is a weird energy around, and it is nice because he knows exactly where it is. So it's easy for Kagari to arrive, and then she just becomes Princess Zeal and she starts fighting again. And it's very easy for Zeal. Like, it's not something that takes much of her. At least that's what it seems. And she just jumps in. She just, slays. While she just throws the monster away, we have another idea being introduced, another concept of the show being introduced. So this time around, Nachi has her eyes open, but she is not responding to anything. She's just there. And Dabi explains that there is something called muse essence, and I'm going to use the word that Wakutomete has used on their subs, because in Japanese... It has a Japanese term, but Wakutomete has adapted it into English this way. Very cool word. And the muse essence is basically the energy that people have in Alicipia, and it fuels Alicipia. This is an energy that when you sing, you emit this energy. When you dance, you emit this energy. And deep down, it just means that if you are doing something that you love, you are going to be radiating muse essence. And that is what the villains are stealing. I feel like this is a very similar concept to You and Idol Precure. This is a very basic concept of media like this in general. Like magical girls, or it doesn't even have to be a magical girl show. Like shows for kids, they work with this a lot. And I like this idea because I feel like when we are doing things that we love, we are radiating a good energy. We are radiating Muse essence. We are radiating Kira Kira. So the idea is very simple, but it works so well. And they sucked the energy out of Nachi. And without this energy, Nachi wouldn't be able to be the idol that she always wanted to be. Without this energy, she would not be Nachi. And Nachi is very energetic, so that would be a sad thing. And because of that, finally, something sparked inside of Minamo, and she decided to take a stand and become Princess Ripple again. And that was a cool moment. We have a cool transformation scene. I reacted to the transformation scene here on the channel if you'd like to check it out. And then we have Princess Ripple's song playing while Princess Ripple fights. I don't think we have a fighting scene that is memorable in terms of animation, but I really like it nonetheless. I felt that it was a lot of fun. Watching Princess Ripple fight was very cool. Loved it. And there's also the song. And about the song, I have to say that I do love insert songs like those. I love them. Like when Zeal was fighting, it was also very cool. But I do like... This is very Symphogear. This is an idea that was used in Symphogear like heavily. I feel like Symphogear is the main show when thinking about this. And this is a personal thing of mine. I have a little issue with shows like this because the songs, they don't stick to me. If you ask me what my favorite Symphogear song is, I'm going to say the first opening of the first season, because that is the most iconic one to me. That's the most memorable one. All of the songs that are played in the middle of the episodes, I just don't connect with them very much. I can't like really pay attention to the song, and it just becomes something from the background. I say this because I have listened to Princess Ripple's song before watching the episode, and I really loved it. Like only the song. I loved it. And I was like, oh my God, what a good song. And then when I was watching the episode with the song, I was like, okay. The song is there in the background. I couldn't really feel it, but it just makes for a nice background for the fight. And I feel like it works more as a background music. It just doesn't really take the center stage. And I feel like the back and forth between the like Princess Ripple singing and also talking and interacting was nice. I think that was handled very nicely. And she finishes it with her own attack, which is very cool as well. And then at the end, we have a very beautiful scene of Nachi and Minamo talking. And Minamo talking about the dangers that are going around Alicipia and how dangerous the experiences were for Nachi. And Nachi telling her that, you know, she was scared about them. But that is not going to take away her will, her wish of becoming an idol. And she is like, I still am going to try my best to be an idol. And Mina was like, okay, I'm going to root for you until you become one. And Nachi's like, girl, after I become one, are you going to stop rooting for me? I love that scene. I feel like when it comes to the dialogues, sometimes Princess Session can be really smart about it, except for Minamo. I feel like nothing is really memorable about her, at least in those two first episodes. I feel like everyone else is really catching my attention more than her. It's not that I dislike her. I feel like she just feels a kind of a bland type of character right now, at least. But I am having a lot of fun with Princess Session. I feel like the one thing... Oh, I forgot to mention another thing. That scene at the end of both Minamo and Nachi talking. So beautiful. Visually. So beautiful. The way they do the colorization of Alicipia is out of this world to me. I really, really like it so far. Very pretty. So now I'm very curious to see where this show is going to go. I'm curious to know how Zeal became Zeal, how Meteor is going to arrive, how things are going to play out. I am excited for more Princession. How about you? I'm having a lot of fun. Please leave your thoughts in the comment box. And now I just have to say a big thank you to the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you're a member, thank you very much for your support here on YouTube, for your support on Patreon. If you support me on Throne as well, thank you. I'm very happy. And if you've watched up until now, thank you so much as well. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey of this new Magical Girl show. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.